Leadership is not about creating followers. Leadership is about creating new leaders. That means that you gotta have a system to work, and that's why we have these webinars. We try to give you some ideas of how to build your business. And maybe you built it before and you're a top leader, doesn't matter. You can always, get some ideas out of what we're talking about. And our business, why do we grow so fast? Well, it's an online business, and it's the business, the industry has changed in a way because of technology. We talk a lot about this, and that's why it's going so fast. We have the 5-minute business, as Jonas used to say. We can work this business really fast. Only thing you need is a mobile phone. You can have a computer, but when you have a phone, it's really fast. You can download the app and bam, you're on. You can do this business. But this business doesn't grow out of the phone. It grows out of law of multiplication. The law of multiplication, that means that is so fast, is way faster than we can imagine. Our mind can almost not wrap around the idea of how the law of multiplication works. But that also works in two ways. If you have the wrong duplication, the law of multiplication works even in a negative sense. Everything multiplies so fast that you can't control it. That's why it's so important to have a system, because everything you do will multiply, or the bad things and the good things. Oh, and I stress this because I've seen so many organizations, uh, so many teams that had potential that could be huge, and some of them don't get there, and some of them even die out because they have the wrong duplication. So the law of multiplication works in both ways, or both in the good and in the bad. I said the leadership is not about creating followers, it's about creating new leaders. That's why when we start this business, people got to have an idea what to do, the next step, what to do immediately, because you can't travel. We have leaders who travel all around the world. They're in Russia, they're in Colombia, they're in South Africa, they're in Kenya, they're all over the world, in Asia, Dubai, Europe, doing meetings, in at hotel meetings. And of course, they can't be everywhere. And if that would be the case, this wouldn't have grown as fast as it has. But leadership give other people a purpose. Leadership give other people a meaning. People follow good leadership. So that's why we have this system. And the system is easy. I'm not going to go in detail the system, but I will give you an idea, how to conduct the business. And if you haven't already, you already built, a couple of hundred or thousands of people, you can implement it now. That's never too late. And this system has worked for ages. There's no miracle about it. It's just a good system. And the system is about, we have a first look, and that could be, you send out a link, or a short movie, or you call people up and tell them about this business. You send them a link to a webinar, and then the first look is always the first look. But the first look should always lead to a second look. That means when people have a first look, you you should be surprised how many people not going forward in the system because people don't follow up. And that's so important in this business. When you had the first look, you gotta listen, guys, write this down. A meeting should have only one purpose. It should lead to another meeting. So when you have had a meeting on the phone, on a web, on in person at the cafe, when you are finished, that person should know where he or she is going next. So one meeting should lead to a new meeting. So a first look is just a first look. Then you put them in the tube, so to say, in the system. So first look lead to another presentation, a short presentation on the web, or in person at the hotel meeting, wherever it is. Then the next presentation is a business, we call it business planning session, or hotel meeting, where people can get the big picture. They can realize that, wow, I'm not alone, and they see other people, and they see that this business is growing. And the fourth um, block in the system is the event, the big event we had in Durban, for instance. So guys, but the principle behind the system is that it's got to be easy to understand. It's got to be easy to duplicate, and it's also got to be easy to do. You know. So now when we have the technology, we can use this system. Doesn't matter. You can do it in person. You can do it on the phone. You can do it by in front of your computer. But you got to have the system, and you got to follow the system. And the system has another purpose. It's because when your organization is growing all over the world, because it will. If it's already not doing it, it will. Then you got to make sure you got to have a control system, so you know that people are doing the business in the right way. You're thousands of miles away. You got to know that people are doing the same way, because what happens, like I said, with the law of multiplication, otherwise everything you duplication is common in this business. If you never heard that expression before, duplication is that people actually do what you do. It's like kids. When you're bringing up kids, they don't do what you tell them to do. They do what you do. And same thing in this business. Your people will do what you do. So that's duplication. And we can't afford to have the wrong stuff, doing people doing the wrong stuff, because then it will go not so good. Okay. So leadership create a meaning for people. They trust leaders because they see that they have um, leaders have a purpose. Leaders have set goals. So I will put something in here which I call key people, because when you do this business, you present the business for people. People don't immediately are leaders. There's no such thing. Even there are of course people who have some education and they've done this before, and it's easier to work with them because they they have some kind of knowledge. But I have a thing here where I have a whole chapter in my book called the 12 Step to Success, and it's called Key People. And your key people are the people who will actually become the real leaders, because key people are people who have an open mind, who have an ambition, who have a great attitude. So I have a couple of points where you can actually locate key people. So is this guy a key people? Is this guy, when you start working with people, have you ever realized that, of course you have, that people, they say something and they do a total different thing. They say, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna build and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and they don't even show up. They don't deliver. So they are not key people. You realize that. Yeah. So what are key people in this business? Key people, they set goals. And that's the first thing. You got to help people in the system. You got to help them set some goals. And the goals from the beginning is going to be, of course, short term, but they're also going to have long term goals. And goals is dreams with a deadline. You heard that before. Goals are dreams with a deadline. That means that if you write something down, you want to accomplish it, it's got to have a date, an end date. Other than that, otherwise it's not a goal. Otherwise it's a wish, and a wish will most common not come through, because everyone has wishes. Everyone wish to be rich. Everyone wish to be a success. Everyone wished to have a huge organization. Everyone wished to have a nice car, but wishes won't help you, because this business is about doing it. And leadership is definitely of being a doer, not a wisher. Okay, so key people, they set goals. Key people also follow the system. You can study your organization with people that you bring in. Of course, it's going super fast, and also that's why you need to have this thinking that you need so you can see where that key people pop up. They follow the system, but they also show up to meetings, to events, to webinars. You can't call yourself a key person if you not even show up on a webinar. How hard can it be? You have a link, you can be in your car, you can be everywhere. There's no excuses. People have so much excuses because they are trained that way. The culture in the world is to they think they can get free things. There are no such thing. There are no such thing as a free lunch. There's always a price to pay. But people have excuses because they're afraid. And I will go into that later. So key people, they set goals, they follow system, they show up, they take action. Key people, your key people in your business are the people who take action. So you can have one guy who, for instance, take a lot of action, but he doesn't show up and he doesn't follow the system. He works the system in his own way, in his own ego way. Uh, that means he's not a key people. He's not one of your key people because he will destroy your business. He will do stuff that will hurt your business. So key people also educate themselves. And you can see that showing up is a big part of educating. If you don't show up, how can you educate yourself? Are you going to educate yourself? That's like being your own lawyer. That's pretty stupid. Anyway, so key people, they have these are just five, ideas. You can have your own, but these are really good to study people when they work. Because the purpose of a system is to create a long-term business. Long-term business. Because when you have this in place, you can easily see when you have people following your system, that means residual income for everyone. What people don't realize, they model a little bit here and a little bit there, or they don't follow the system, or they do it, they don't really care. They just throw people in, and they don't take care of them. Then you will have a lot of confused people who think this business is something that is not. You know that it is a lottery. We work with the lottery, but this business is not a lottery. This business is a business, and if you treat it like a business, it will pay out like a business. And so, if you go back to what I've been talking about today, is that number one, law multiplication works anywhere, everywhere, and in the way. So if you put something negative in the multiplication, that will duplicate. So that's why you need to put people in the system, tell them this is the way we do it. It's easy. I will help you. And real leaders, they help their people. So you don't have a bunch of people out there who are signed up. They have no idea what to do. They think they bought a lottery ticket, and they go home and say, "Wow, he told me I will make millions. I just signed in." And that's not the case. People will not make millions just by signing in. So you got to have some truth, some morals, some ethics, some ethic moral codes when you work. So that's also a big part of being a leader. That is to tell people that you don't need to exaggerate this business. It's too good. It's too good. It's so good. We don't need to put some extra stuff on top of it. So that's why we need personal development, because personal development is the key. And I will go into a little bit of this so you can get an idea and how this works with finding your key people. A key people, like we said, he He is open. He have a great attitude. He's like, yeah, yeah, show me, show me, show me. That's a good sign of a upcoming key person in your business. Because why do we need personal development? Well, listen to me. We're born into this world, and the regular school does not teach us how to become successful. The regular culture out there does not teach us how to be successful. Totally the opposite. Totally the opposite. So the culture in society is actually telling us to do the opposite stuff to be successful. That's why it's so important when you have a person that you see potential, in that person. He needs to put on an education system. That's why we have these webinars. There are so many things out there, books and online stuff, and on YouTube that you can learn from. But personal development is mostly two things. It is getting rid of fear, because fear is what keeps people in slavery, in bondage, in a slavery mindset. And it's also about leaving the comfort zone, because every time you leave your comfort zone, if you haven't heard the word comfort zone, you probably have, but I'll go through it anyway, because maybe there's someone here on the webinar that haven't heard it. A comfort zone is the zone that you feel comfortable in, so that's why it's called comfort zone. You're comfortable in that zone, which means that is all the stuff that you learned up until today. You feel comfortable doing stuff, and you not feel comfortable doing other stuff. That means you're outside of your comfort zone. And I can tell you, write this down, all the success is outside the comfort zone. So some people are afraid of talking to people. Well, you need to talk to people in this business. You got to go outside your comfort zone. Some people are afraid of they're actually more afraid of being successful, because we are trained to actually bother about what people think about us. How stupid is that? You know, what does it matter what people think about you? Nothing. The only thing that matters is what you think of yourself. And we have something in Sweden, in Scandinavia, we have something called the Jante law, which means is that people are envious of other people who are successful. They also don't like that people are successful. They also want to destroy people that are successful. And maybe you have a little bit of the Jante law all over the world, but it's really extreme in the Scandinavian countries. But anyway, so fear is what keep people holding back. Fear, and that fear, uh, you heard that before. Fear is false evidence appear real. So it's actually something that appears to be real, but it's not, because fear does not exist. It's all in your mind. It's all in the people's mind. That's why personal development, when you set goals, you're leaving your comfort zone, because you're doing something you never done before to get something that you have never got before. And that is also a principle. You cannot get something new if you don't do something new. So you're leaving your comfort zone is really, we're going to do a whole webinar on the comfort zone, but I will just go some basics. So whatever you decide to hear, listen to, and read, you become. So that's why people say stick to the winners. Hang around people who are going somewhere. Hang around people who have a plan with their life, and who are not listening to dream busters. Oh, you can't do that. There's no way you can. Oh, that's gonna be crazy. Blah 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 blah. You know, that's what's keeping people from doing and fulfilling their dreams. They're staying inside it's more comfortable to not doing than to do it. But I'm telling you, it's outside the comfort zone where you are uncomfortable, where the results are. You will not become successful if you're not leaving the comfort zone. You got to leave. You got to do something that you're afraid of. When you do it, fear disappears. Action is the great fear killer. As soon as you have people and you see that you suffer from a little bit of fear, tell them go do something, do a presentation. Action is the great fear killer. You know, and in in the process of doing this, when you decide to become a leader, when you decide to become a key person, or you're looking for other key persons, in that process you will inspire others. That's why Björn and other leaders are so successful, because they've gone through this school. They also started, everyone started from zero. Everyone started from zero. Zip, zero, nada. One day, someone started. I did too. And I had good mentorship. I had a guy who was not afraid of telling me the stuff I needed to hear instead of the stuff I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, oh, Peter, you can stay home and I'm going to build the business for you. So good luck and stay home and make some coffee and, have some more sandwiches and everything's going to be fine. That's what I wanted to hear. But I'm telling you, that's not what he told me. He told me, you got to step up. You got to do something. If you don't do it, I'm not working with you. He put some pressure on me, because pressure is what makes things grow. You got to put some pressure on yourself, but also on the people you work with. And if people are lazy, well, they're gonna have, not so good results, because laziness has it's no part of this. And that's also fear. You know that laziness is fear. It's based out of fear. Why are people, why don't people do stuff? Why don't they go out and do stuff? Because they suffer from possibility blindness, which is also based out of fear. They rather not do something that can make them look stupid, or people can tell stories about them, or they are afraid of what people think or say about them, so they don't do nothing. And you got to, number one, get rid of that immediately, because it has no bearing whatsoever. You know, the three P's: principle, passion, and purpose are leadership cornerstones. So personal development, that's why we need to help people. So you can see what I'm talking about today, that it actually makes sense. You start this business, you got to have, go back here, you got to have, you have the law of multiplication. That's there. Doesn't matter what you do. You can't change that. It will multiply. It will duplicate. Then you have the system where you give people a chance who never done this before to actually succeed. They just have to follow the system. And in the process, in the system, you're looking for key people, because when you put people in the system, some people will fall out, you know. And the key people, how do you identify them? Well, these are the five common denominators. People are open-minded, have a great attitude, they set goals, they follow system, they show up and take action, and they educate themselves. So why do we talk about education? Well, when people also, I started this webinar with this. Money is not the solution. Money follow solutions. Money, you give an idiot a million, is you have an idiot with $1 million, and it won't help him, because he need to change. So money won't change. Well, money can change people, of course, to the worse. But we want people to be successful in life. We want to have a success story. We want people to go out and change their communities. We want people to be part of something big, something huge. If you know what Johan von Holstein has in mind for you guys, because since he stepped on board, we have such an opportunity to do something that people are gonna be off, or they're going to go like, wow, that company that started back there, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they're still around doing amazing stuff. Because I think what it ends up with, if we can't help other people, why are we even doing it? There's no personal. You can sit there like, with all that money and all that material possessions, but if it has no use in real life, you can't use it all. You gotta give it away to keep it. Write that down. If you have something, whatever that is, if you want to keep it, give it away. If you have a lot of education, if you have a lot of power, give it away. If you have money, give it away, and it will come back to you. I'm telling you, it's a principle, because you can't keep what you don't give away. So I have a higher purpose than most people with this business. I want to help you guys, if I can, to develop yourself, to be part of something bigger, something greater that people never seen before. Imagine when we gather all the success stories, and we put some stuff out there, what we have done, with all the money that we create in the business. Then we will have no enemies. We will have all people gonna applaud us, are gonna applaud you for doing. But then we need personal development in this organization, in this company, because otherwise it'll go astray. Relationships, guys. We're building relationships. And listen, you will have true friends when you do stuff. Not everyone will applaud you, of course. Some people will be crybabies, but then they're not a key people. But key people don't cry. People Key people don't complain. So we're building relationships. Long-term relationships will make long-term business. That's why people need to be plugged in, so they can change, because change is the most important thing in the world. The universe is in constant change, and still it's what most people are afraid of, change. And it's the thing that's constant in the universe. Right now, everything is moving. Right now, everything is changing. And people are afraid of that, because the culture out in the society makes them believe that change is dangerous, and it's not. Change is the number one denominator for everything. So really, we're building relationships, guys, long term, and that's what people will thank you when you are true, when you have some morals, and when you are doing this business for real. They will stay with you. They will not stay with you if you cheat, lie, steal, or do something bad. So that's why we need real leadership. We need leaders who are lead people, who are actually taking care of their organizations, and make them grow in their mind, in their soul, in everything. So that's why we have these webinars. I know I went too far, but still, it doesn't really matter. All information is good. So, guys, you're doing an amazing job out there, and we appreciate the leadership you're doing. So, guys, next webinar, next Sunday, and leaders, always show up. I hope you got something out of this webinar. If you didn't, it's not my fault. Then you maybe need to listen to another webinar to get the right information. Okay, guys, but listen up. The rest of your life will be the best of your life. See you next Sunday.